This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features Tamiya's 1/48 scale Churchill, Eduard's Pe-2, Meng's Rubicon, Azur FrRom's Gamma, and Hasegawa's Roller.
This episode of New Product Rundown brought to you by Hobby Zone USA, the source for all your workbench storage needs. Welcome to New Product Rundown, FineScale Modeler's video show where we take you inside the latest kits and accessories. I'm Skinner.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash. Thank you for letting us into your cyberspace. Let's kick this episode off with a new 1/48 scale tank from Tamiya, a Churchill Mk.VII.
Designed hastily after the German invasion of France, the heavily armored Churchill served the British Army in North Africa and Europe through the rest of World War II.
Tamiya's kit represents the Mk.VII, the second most produced tank, and can be built as either an infantry tank or the flamethrower-equipped Crocodile.
The belly of the tank is mostly featureless except for cast texture under the nose.
Supported by internal braces, the internal side panels include the suspension arms, springs, and inner halves of the road wheels. The outer halves are molded together in a long strip with part of the lower hull. A metal weight provides heft for the finished model.
The rest of the running gear includes the toothed drive sprockets and idlers with Lincoln length tracks. The runs are incomplete with the upper section omitted where the sponsons hide them.
The upper hull is a single part with fine recessed hatch and panel lines, molded tools, and the reinforced sponson tops.
The remainder of the hull comprises the outer sponsons, glasses, driver's plate, and rear panel. An optional rear panel has the attachment for the Crocodile's fuel trailer.
The turret has sides with cast texture, the top with molded hatches and weld seams.
Most of the main gun is a single piece with only the muzzle brake molded in halves. The mantlet and elevation drum and split commander's hatch round out the turret. The commander is included, but only from the waist up.
The parts for the Crocodile's fuel and propellant trailer include upper and lower halves, equipment, hitch, underbody plumbing, the flame unit to replace the bow machine gun, and wheels.
Decals provide markings for 2 vehicles in Europe after D-Day, 1 Crocodile and 1 infantry tank.
A nice smaller scale rendition of an important British tank. Tamiya does a great job with these.
Next, here's Eduard's 1/48 scale Pe-2, the Soviet bomber and third most produced twin-engine combat aircraft of World War II.
This kit is based around Zvezda's terrific Pe-2, which we looked at on an MPRD when it was released at the end of 2015.
So it features fine recessed panel lines and petite rivets on the major airframe components.
The crew compartment is crammed with detail, including the pilot seat, controls, and instrument panel.
In the back is a navigator's seat and dorsal gun position. Up front, the nose compartment gets a pair of fixed forward-firing machine guns, but wait, there's more, including a detailed bomb bay and ventral gun position. All of the hatches can be posed open.
The port side engine can be displayed and includes the block, plumbing, and mount.
On the starboard side, only the rear of the engine, what's visible through the wheel well, is provided.
There's plenty to see in the wheel wells, including structural detail and fine struts.
Most of the control surfaces are separate, including the rudders, ailerons, elevators, and dive flaps.
Eduard enhances the kit's detail with colored photo etch for the instrument panels and seat belts.
More photo etch provides engine screens, pedals, the boarding hatch, and more.
Then there's resin replacement parts, including the bulged main and tail wheels, fine propeller blades, and spinners.
Pre-cut masks make painting the multi-pane canopy and other windows a snap.
Markings are always a highlight of Zvezda's cooperative kits, and this is no exception. Decals designed by Begamot and printed by Cartograph provide markings for 5 Soviet bombers, most with bright slogans and nose art.
Eduard's limited edition cooperative kits sell out quickly so they can be hard to find, but they're worth searching out. Look for this one if you like Russian bombers. From Meng, here's a 1/24 scale Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
Based on the classic Wrangler, the Rubicon was introduced in 2003 with a more powerful engine and enhanced off-road capabilities.
Meng's kit represents the 10th anniversary edition of the vehicle.
Molded in a delightful blue plastic, the body parts comprise side panels, hood, doors, tailgate, and front panel with the grille. The smooth plastic is marked with fine hinges, panel lines, and doors.
Speaking of colorful plastic, check out the seats molded in bright red. They include separate headrests.
They fit into a complex interior pan with molded floor mats. It's in black, as are the balance of the kit's parts.
The rest of the interior includes a dashboard, interior door panels, visors and controls, and other fittings.
Exterior parts molded in black comprise the wheel flares, bumpers, running boards, roll bars complete with the padded covering, and the optional hardcover with separate driver covers.
A frame mounts under the floor and mates with the one-piece chassis.
This curbside model features only the lower section of the engine and transmission and transfer case.
The rest of the underside detail comprises drive shafts, front and rear axles with multi-part differentials, exhaust, fuel tank, brakes, and wheels.
Soft vinyl tires have good tread, but no sidewall labels.
The engineering of the shock absorbers, suspension, and steering, as well as the inclusion of metal springs, indicates the suspension will be movable.
The windshield and other windows drop in from outside, so should be easy to install them after painting. Head and tail lights have textured lenses.
A small decal sheet includes Rubicon titles for the hood, dials for the dashboard, and placards. Another sheet has self-adhesive foil for the mirrors and the hood badge.
Meng civilian vehicles go together nicely, and this one looks like it should be another winner.
Next, from Azur FrRom, a 1/72nd scale Northrop Gamma 2E.
Originally designed as a mail carrier, the 2E light bomber served in China during the 1930s, flown by foreign mercenaries against the Japanese.
Although its combat career was short, the Gamma serves as the ancestor for the Douglas Dauntless dive bomber via the Northrop A-17.
Although a short-run kit, the Gamma has fine recessed panel lines over external surfaces and structural and mechanical details inside the fuselage.
All of the control surfaces are molded in place, and the one-piece lower wing will set the dihedral. Optional landing gear spats cover fully and partially spatted landing gear.
Up front sits a nicely molded engine with separate exhaust.
Cockpit components comprise the floor and bulkheads, seats for the pilot and gunner, instrument panel, machine gun, and controls.
6 bomb racks are given, but there's no ordnance for them. Clear parts include a one-piece canopy and the ventral windows.
A small photo etch fret supplies seat belts, gun sight, and tie downs.
Aviprint decals give markings for 4 Gammas, 3 in Chinese markings. The 4th wears Royal Air Force insignia as an aircraft evaluated by the British in the late 1930s.
Although the Gamma's contribution to military history is limited, its role in aviation history as the progenitor of the Dauntless is undisputed. It's great to have a sharp-looking kit of it.
Finally, in an episode of NPRD that might be categorized as having more than one unusual subject, here's something that's really different. Hasegawa's 1/35th scale Hitachi ZC50-C5 vibratory combine roller.
Now, civilian construction equipment is not everybody's cup of tea, but Hasegawa does a nice job with these kits, and in this scale, it offers some interesting diorama possibilities with military vehicles.
Molded in color, the kit's orange body parts have crisply rendered details, including hatch outlines and fasteners.
The upper body, controls, and hydraulics are molded in dark gray.
As are the engine compartment side panels and the rear wheels.
The roller, a tubular body with separate ends, and a female operator are molded in light gray plastic.
Clear parts supply lights. Polycaps keep the wheels turning, and vinyl hoses plumb the vehicle.
In addition to branding, the decal sheet has a bunch of placards and warning labels for the roller.
This looks like a fun build.
Look for a review of the Jeep in a future issue of Scale Auto, our sister publication.
And you can see more new products in the May issue.
Our big May issue.
On sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. While you're here, stop by the Combat Hobby Shop where you can find back issues, books, and essential tools, including the glue looper, the perfect applicator for thin adhesives and super glue. I'm Aaron Skinner.
And I'm Elizabeth Nash, and I lobotomize this message.
Gamma 2E.
Original.
Sorry. I'm just double checking myself there. I was right, but I lacked competence.
You can have some of mine, it's okay.
You have,
We're
you're willing
screwed.
to really spare what little.
Take it.